So about 6 months ago, I did a video on this image I posted on Twitter where everyone would mark their favorite characters. A lot of comments I got, which I predicted, went along the lines of, man, those Twitter people sure are wrong. A poll here would be totally different. So predicting that, I left a poll for the YouTube people. Here, I will be going over it. If you don't like the results, I don't know what to tell you. But before we do, a small percentage of the people that watch my videos are subscribed, so if you do frequent my content, consider subscribing. It helps a lot and keeps you updated. Let's start this off with the category with the most votes, the JoBros. They got a total of 12,205 votes at this very moment. Let's address this from bottom to top. First, we have William Antonio Zeppeli from Phantom Blood at 163 votes. See, I'm not surprised about this. People can talk about how underrated Phantom Blood is all the time, but when it comes to the voting part on a list where you have the option of multiple choice, they still didn't pick him. Multiple choice. You can pick as many. They still, whatever, man. At that point, the Baron, he just has to hold that. It's just unfortunate. Next, at 202 votes, we have Hermes Costello from Stone Ocean. Now, I should have prefaced this earlier, but these votes aren't a reflection of the entire community, obviously. Considering that the video racked up a total of 117,000 views, JoJo's reach is just way beyond that. This is just one of those who had taken the means of voting here. And that's also saying that like not everyone that watched the video did vote. That's definitely for a fact. I'm just sure that if you do have a better gathering of the fan base, you should see higher stats. Now, would the positions change? I don't know. I just have what I have here. On Hermes, I definitely enjoyed her character in Stone Ocean. I think that once Stone Ocean gets animated, you'll definitely see more appreciation for both her and the part. Next, Yasuo Hirose of JoJolian with 388 votes. Okay, here, I believe that this is purely because people don't normally read manga when it comes to those fans here on YouTube. I'm going to draw a connection to the last poll at the end. Yasuo is a great character, and you will all know about this in about 10 years or so. Please read. Just get ahead. Now, next character is Caesar Zeppeli of Battle Tendency with 569 votes. Caesar, I expected this to an extent. There are so many Caesar fans out there. It's very interesting, to say the least. Now, on to the next character. Coming in at 717 votes is Koichi Hirose of Diamond is Unbreakable. Koichi is a character I expected to be on the higher end of this list, but I feel like that's because I'm considering how hype people were to see Koichi when Diamond is Unbreakable was airing. It's been a good bit since then, especially since a whole part was now animated and a lot of people have shifted their opinions on characters. But my thing here is that this was multiple choice. People could have just picked Koichi. They just didn't. And that's what gets me here. Like really, like y'all don't like Koichi? Really? He's like his own little protagonist. Like, look at him go. He's Koichi. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. And before anyone asks, I do feel the same way about Yasuo. It's just for the fact that I already know that a lot of people don't read, so I'm just like not even bothering with the idea of that. Now, here's where the gap is, because the next character is our first character with over 1,000 votes. The character, Okuyasu Nijimura from Diamond is Unbreakable. I believe that this is strongly expected for Okuyasu to be up here. What I didn't expect is that he would be behind some of the characters here. Spoiler alert, I'm talking about Kakyoin. I want you to know that. If you were to tell me that there are more Kakyoin fans than Okuyasu fans, I would be strongly surprised, at least in most cases. But for the reasons to be mentioned, I'm not surprised now. I haven't been surprised for a bit. Okuyasu is a very fun character. I've definitely enjoyed his presence, but yeah. That's going to be the end of our part 4 people. Our next character is Jean-Pierre Polnareff of Stardust Crusaders with 1,114 votes. I believe that if I made this poll recently with the hype of Polnareff in the Part 5 dub, we would have had more votes, but this is with the sub people that are already involved, so I guess that's pretty good for him to begin with. Polnareff was a nice character in Stardust Crusaders, and it makes a lot of sense to see him this high up. Next character is a back-to-back of the part, Noriaki Kakyoin of Stardust Crusaders with 1,403 votes. We are in the top 5 now. Now, let me go what I was mentioning earlier. What I believe created more Kakyoin fans as of recent has been the fandom's execution of what they see him as or what he could have been. There are so many fan comics of Kakyoin in Part 4, and Kakyoin and the team having fun with enjoyable dialogue that's taken away from like shows like Parks and Rec or something like that. I believe that the idea of Kakyoin has become bigger than the actual character, and that means a lot when it comes to a fandom. So good on that. On to the next character, always a fan favorite, Robert E.O. Speedwagon of Phantom Blood with 1,419 votes. I don't have anything to say. I expected him to get this far, putting him on this list, so GG. Now on to number 3, we have Guido Mista of Golden Wind with 1,491 votes. It's in reverse. Even in spirit, he's dodging the number 4. That's just amazing. Amazing. Now, shout out to y'all for not leaving him in that spot. That would have been terrible for all of us. Now, we're on to the big numbers. Big number 2, Gyro Zeppeli of Steel Ball Run with 1,648 votes. This is very interesting because if you're someone that was here for the video before, you might remember that Gyro actually got the number 1 spot. I expected that back then because there's a lot of readers on Twitter. But on YouTube, I always felt that there were more anime fans in comparison. Considering the next spot, I don't think I'm that far off. And now, our number 1 spot with 1,961 votes, almost 2,000. Your favorite gang leader, Bruno Bucciarati of Golden Wind. Now, here's my thing. I do believe that these two are interchangeable when you come to see it in a more general view. When you look to both polls, they share the first and second spot. Now, like I said before, you could attribute things like recency bias to it if you want to. It makes sense. How I see it is that seeing as Golden Wind had to go through the whole bad scan process, and that made people think that it wasn't good originally, and it took it being animated for people to see the true greatness of the part, it makes a lot of sense. Though I also believe that when we're in a time where Part 7 has been animated and out for a good while, the votes may teeter in Gyro's favor. Though that's a read for the future, and the fact for now is that Bruno has won the JoBro poll. As for the spread, here's what it looks like. Okuyasu and Polnareff share 9%, and Mista and Speedwagon sharing 12%. It's a very interesting spread. It's a nice little pie we got going on here. Now, on to the JoJo Antagonist. Now, I just want to get some of this stuff out of the way. This video was 6 months ago, and a lot has changed in this time. The Lokakaka organization was one of the lowest things here with 126 votes, but I feel like if we were to make it specific to the head doctor, I'm sure it'd be definitely more higher now. The second lowest thing here is Jobin with 300 votes, and I have nothing to say on that. That's just unfortunate. GG on that, dog. All right, on to the should be more accurate votes here. Coming in at our next spot, we have Cars of Battle Tendency with 623 votes. This is exactly what I expected to see from a YouTube audience. On Twitter, Cars was top 4. That's pretty damn good, though I believe that might be because of the situation he's got going on that's similar to Kakyoin, where a lot of fan stuff created had made people more interested in Cars. There's that. And the fact that like a lot of people are just mad attracted to Cars and or just like his character like that. So yeah, YouTube, they don't care from what it looks like. Y'all don't. It's messed up. Next, with a fairly close amount of votes, is Enrico Pucci of Stone Ocean with 654 votes. What I want to say, When we do this again after Stone Ocean, I better see Poochie higher. Everyone, all of you, I better see him higher. Well, actually, I know I'll see him higher. People will see what true heaven is. You will know what true heaven is. Next, with, again, a very close amount of votes, like seriously, the past 3 antagonists take 7% each, they're really a group, Dio Brando of Phantom Blood with 668 votes. Now, considering that these 3 are all close in votes, I don't think I have much of a statement to make since they're so close to each other. Though I never would have thought that I'd see Part 1 Dio over Poochie. That's wild to me, and I'm for it. I like the chaos, and I like Part 1 Dio. Now, with double the percentage of the last vote, we have our next character coming in with 1,285 votes. We have Diavolo of Golden Wind. Thank goodness. I appreciate YouTube for this one. I love y'all. I love you all so much. I already love you guys to begin with, but I just love y'all so much altogether. Diavolo got dead last on the Twitter version. That was ridiculous. That was blasphemy. He was behind Ricardo. What was that? It's an unspeakable atrocity. Pure disgust. Thank you, YouTube. Just thank you. We did a good thing here. Let's go, Diavolo. Let's go. Next, we have Dio of Stardust Crusaders with 1,447 votes. I don't get what's going on here. I'm not exactly the most confused, but seeing Dio this high in general is just astonishing to me. In this whole list, he's the 3rd highest. That's a pretty big achievement for Dio, right? But on the Twitter poll too, let's consider this. He got the number 2 spot there over Valentine. That's a real thing that happened. And I'd just say that I was just been more shocked then. Shout out to him though. Personally, I would have liked to put Diavolo over here instead, but I guess you do what you do. Now, the next character actually shares the same percentage as Dio, both being 16%. That person is Funny Valentine of Steel Ball Run with 1,476 votes. I would have just never expected that Part 3 Dio to get the same amount of votes, in terms of percentage, as Funny Valentine. It's just different to me. I will say though that the fact that Dio and Valentine are close at all is just astonishing to me. I'm not trying to put that energy out there, but Valentine was pretty involved if we draw connections. I'm just saying, just putting that information out there. It's for y'all to take, not me. And finally, at our number 1 spot, we have Yoshikage Kira sitting above all with 2,673 votes. That's a whole 29% of the entire pack. That's a lot. Now, when it comes to both polls, Kira was also number 1 there. So this leads me to believe that he's just the most favorite antagonist there is to the franchise. At least for now. Good for him. Great for him. Shout out to Kira. Here's a percentage chart. Pretty interesting spread. Everything seems so fairly close altogether. There's 3 7%, 2 16%, and Kira just flexing on the competition like he always does. But yeah. Now we're finally here at our protagonists. First, at the bottom, we have Gappy Higashikata of JoJolion with 577 votes. I will chalk this up to not many people being caught up with JoJolion, or just even caught up to JoJolion. They're probably still here at 5. JoJolion is a great part, and Gappy is a great JoJo. Up next is Jonathan Joestar of Phantom Blood with 647 votes. Both Jonathan and Gappy share the bottom 2 spots of both polls, and that's just unfortunate. I really do wish that they'd run side by side on something at probably the middle of the poll, at least 5% of the votes or something. But no, just at the bottom. it happens. Next, Jolene Cujo of Stone Ocean, 714 votes. Now, if you see how this list gets, I promise you it won't be that surprising to see her here. This was one of the more odd ones, I believe, but watch, it can get, to give it a nice word, it gets even more different than you can expect. Next JoJo we got on here, Johnny Joestar of Steel Ball Run with 1,033 votes. Yeah, see, this is surprising to me. But again, I do believe that a lot of these numbers are subject to change when parts get animated. I'd like to say that it would be when people start reading, but look, if we're here right now and they're not reading, then they probably won't start reading ahead until all this big talk about part 7 being animated. That doesn't go for everyone, obviously. There's a bunch of people that just, oh yeah, after I finish the anime, I'm gonna go read. And then there's a bunch of great people like that. I'm just making a calculated guess on the fan base here. But hey, I could be bad at math. And that could be the case. On to the next JoJo. Here we have Jotaro Kujo of Stardust Crusaders with 1,194 votes. I think Jotaro's placement fits here. It would be wild for him not to be considered at least top 4, especially when you had seen all that he does. If you do want to look more into that, you can look at my Jotaro video that I did not too long ago. It's right here. Next, coming in with 1,483 votes, the third highest placing JoJo on this list, Joseph Joestar of Battle Tendency. I've expected this, nothing more to really say. I may have expected Johnny over Joseph, but considering that people think of all of Joseph, which they should, that's what it's supposed to be looked at, it makes a lot of sense. What would you really pick? Like Joseph, all of Joseph, or Johnny? It's me. Not really my place to say here, but yeah, respect to Joseph and this specifically. Also, yes, this will be like all of their character all together. So yeah, it's all of Joseph when you're picking Joseph. But another thing, again, I stress this all the time. This was multiple choice. I wanted to make this easier for everybody because they're just like, oh man, I love Johnny, but I also love Jonathan. How will I be able to pick? You could literally pick both. I gave everyone the decision to pick both. You could pick, it's multiple choice. You can pick all of them if you wanted to. I didn't care. But it did nothing. It didn't do anything. But yeah, it happens. So yeah, shout out to Joseph. Now, the second place of all Joestars, we have Josuke Higashikata of Diamond is Unbreakable here with 1,662 votes. 18% of the chart. This is how this should be. Josuke is a JoJo deserving of all the love and respect, and I'm happy to see him this far up. He's a great kid. And finally, at your number 1 spot, with his resolve, he will see it through, Giorno Giovanna of Golden Wind with 1,714 votes. A solid 19% of the chart. This was a very close number 1. It wasn't nearly as definitive as something like the Kira votes, and I think it makes a lot of sense that Josuke and Giorno are so close. They are two great Joestars. I do wish that a lot of other Joestars got better percentages. Hell, I wish a lot of characters got better percentages, seeing as it was multiple choice, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles, everybody. That's how the cookie crumbles. Well, that was an interesting poll. I don't know when will be the next time that I make another one for y'all that didn't get to vote, but I feel like you'll know if you stay updated by subscribing. You'll know when I make another one, so that'll be good. Thank you all for watching. I wanted to have a Joseph video out on his birthday, but I think this video will be out here first, and we'll just have to give him a belated one later on. This was too hefty of a video for me to say anything more right now, so just follow my socials in the description if you want to stay updated on that too. But yeah, we're done here. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out, and Godspeed.